Social Security at 62 versus 67 versus 70. Claim at 62 and you lock in a check that is 43% smaller than the one you would get at 70. For the rest of your life, not for a year, not until some rule changes, forever, and adjusted upward for inflation the whole way. This is one financial decision, made once, and it is worth 6 figures. So we did the math on all 3 ages, so you do not have to. Here is the exact question we are answering. If you are somewhere between 55 and 70, you have a live decision in front of you. At 62, you can start collecting Social Security. At 67, which is your full retirement age, if you were born in 1960 or later, you get your full benefit, and you can wait all the way to 70 for the biggest possible check. The rule that governs all of this has a name. It is called the actuarial adjustment, and once you understand it, the fear drains out of the decision, and it becomes pure arithmetic. We are using the Social Security Administration's own benefit formula, which is exact and rarely changes, plus industry estimates for real-world dollar amounts. So when we show you a percentage, that number is locked in by statute. When we show you a dollar figure, treat it as illustrative, because those drift a little every year with wage growth and cost of living adjustments. Our goal is simple. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which of the 3 ages fits your situation and why. Let me show you the compound growth curve of your benefit as you age. Picture your full benefit at 67 as 100%. That is the baseline. Now walk backward. At 66, you would get about 93.3%. At 65, about 86.7%. At 64, 80%. At 63, 75%. And at 62, the earliest you can claim, you get just 70%. That is a 30% permanent cut for claiming 5 years early. Now walk forward from 67. At 68, your check grows to 108%. At 69, it reaches 116%. And at 70, you hit 124%. That is the top of the ladder. Waiting even one day past 70 gains you nothing, so 70 is the ceiling. So the full range runs from 70% at the bottom to 124% at the top. Put those two ends next to each other, and the 70 check is roughly 77% larger every single month than the 62 check. That is the gap people underestimate the most. Now let me name the exact rule, because this is where a lot of people get lost. When you claim early Social Security cuts your check by 0.05% for each of the first 36 months, which works out to about 6.67 per year. Beyond 36 months early, the cut is 0.05% per month, or 5% per year. Stack those together across the full 5 years and you land at that 30% reduction. Going the other direction, when you delay past your full retirement age, you earn what are called delayed retirement credits. Those are worth 0.2% per month, which is exactly 8% per year, every year from 67 to 70. That is where the jump from 100% to 124% comes from. 3 years, 8% each, that is your 24% bonus. One important note, your full retirement age depends on your birth year. It is 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later, and it steps down slightly for people born before that. If your full retirement age is 66 instead of 67, claiming at 62 is a 25% cut, rather than 30%. And notice, your full retirement age is not 65. 65 is when Medicare starts. There is nothing magic about 65 for Social Security. That is misconception number 1, cleared. Percentages are abstract. So let me put real money on the screen with a side-by-side rate comparison. Using typical real-world numbers, the average check at 62 runs around $1,416 a month. The average check at 70 runs around $2,250 a month or more. That is a difference of about $833 every month, which is roughly $10,000 a year for life. Now look at the high earners. Someone who paid in the maximum might see around $2,969 a month at 62 versus around $5,181 a month at 70. Again, treat those exact dollar figures as illustrative because they update annually, but the shape is what matters. The bigger your benefit, the bigger the absolute dollars you are deciding to give up or claim. And here's where it gets interesting. That 24% bonus is just the sticker number, because cost of living adjustments compound on top of the higher base every year. The actual dollar gap between the 62 check and the 70 check keeps widening the longer you live. The longer your retirement, the more lopsided it gets in favor of waiting. This is the heart of the whole decision. So here is the break-even line chart. 2 lines climbing across your lifetime. One line is the person who claimed early and collected smaller checks for more years. The other is the person who waited and collected bigger checks for fewer years. The question is, when the second line catches and passes the first? The answer: comparing 62 versus 67, the lines cross around age 79. For 62 versus 70, the crossover comes at roughly age 80 to 81. And 67 versus 70 crosses around age 82 to 83. It takes about 10.5 years of the bigger check to make up for the checks you skipped. So the logic is brutally simple. If you live past the break-even, delaying wins. If you die before it, claiming early wins. That is why this is not really a money decision at all. It is a longevity bet. The math is built to be roughly fair for a person of average lifespan, which means the tiebreaker is never the formula. The tiebreaker is you, your health, your family history, your spouse, and whether you need the cash now. Before we get to your decision, we have to kill 2 fears that push people into claiming early for bad reasons. First, the earnings test. Here is a money flow waterfall showing what happens if you claim before full retirement age and keep working. Social Security withholds $1 for every $2 you earn above about $24,480 a year. In the year you actually reach full retirement age, it loosens to $1 for every $3 above about $65,160. After full retirement age, there is no limit at all. But here is the part almost nobody knows. That withheld money is not gone. Social Security recalculates and credits it back to you at full retirement age. It is a deferral, not a forfeiture. Second, the big one. Do not claim early just to, quote, beat Social Security going broke. Even in the worst trust fund shortfall scenarios, ongoing payroll taxes keep paying a large majority of benefits. Claiming early to dodge that locks in a certain 30% cut to avoid an uncertain, smaller one. The durable principle. Never take a guaranteed 30% cut to hedge against a maybe. Now, the single most valuable insight in this entire video. And here is a stat call-out to anchor it. Everything we have said about break-even ages assumes a single person. Married couples play a completely different game. When one spouse dies, the survivor steps up to 100% of the deceased's actual benefit, including any delayed retirement credits they earned. So when the higher earner in a couple delays to 70, they are not making a one-life bet. They are making a 2-life bet. That bigger check keeps paying until both spouses have died, which is statistically much later than either one alone. That pushes the effective break-even age dramatically younger and makes delaying far stronger than the single-person chart suggests. For the higher earner in a marriage, delaying to 70 is not just a bigger check. It is the best survivor insurance you can buy, and you are buying it at a price no private insurer can match. Meanwhile, the lower earner can often claim earlier because their benefit will likely be replaced by the survivor benefit anyway. So which lane are you in? Here is the decision tree, branch by branch. Claim at 62 if you are single with below-average health or short family longevity, meaning you honestly expect to die before about 80. Or if you genuinely need the income now and have no other resources. Or if you were forced into early retirement with no savings to bridge the gap. In those cases, early money you can actually use beats a bigger check you may never live to collect. Claim at your full retirement age of 67 if you want the middle path. You are in average health, you want your full 100% with no reduction, and you would rather not tie up assets bridging all the way to 70. That is the reasonable default when you are just not sure. Claim at 70 if you are in good health with real family longevity and a genuine shot at 85 or beyond. Or, and this is the strongest case of all, if you are the higher earner in a married couple because you are insuring 2 lives, or if you simply have enough savings to bridge the years from 62 to 70. And that bridge is the move most people miss. You can retire at 62 and spend down your savings first, then claim at 70. Delaying does not mean working until 70. It means buying yourself an 8% per year inflation-protected annuity from the government, cheaper than anything you could buy privately. Run your own numbers against that break-even near 81. Past it, waiting wins. Before it, early wins. That is your decision in the exact figures that apply to you. If this made the choice clearer, hit like and subscribe so the next one finds you. We did the math so you do not have to.